Today I'm going to go through with you how to install a PuppyLinux on your internal hard drive, but this only applies to legacy BIOS and not UEFI. Most of the older systems will have a legacy BIOS, but to make sure, what you may want to do is just run this simple command, and we'll go ahead and ls sys firmware EFI, and then go ahead and check. So it is not present, so this directory is absent, so it means indeed that I'm running a legacy BIOS, and this YouTube video is pertinent. So next thing you want to do is look at gparted and then configure the hard drive. This will also apply to a USB stick, that if you're gonna do whatever the format you want to use. In my case, it'll be an internal hard drive SDA. This is SDB3. SDB in my case is a separate external hard drive. So with SDA, what I have configured is first you want to make sure that the file system is MS-DOS. So when you first configure the hard drive for frugal install, in my case, you want to make sure that you use MS-DOS. So you can just, when you first create it, we won't create it, but when you first create it, make sure that you pick MS-DOS and not GPT. GPT is purely for UEFI BIOS. So that out of the way, what I did is, where I find it most efficient, is to go ahead and separate out the partition that you're gonna be using for to boot the PuppyLinux. So what I done is give a large amount of USB at the partition, but you really should need more than maybe 2 or 3 gigabytes. So the second partition, what I have elected to do is save it purely for save folders in a PuppyLinux. So this can also be a both ext4, and likewise first partition is ext4 in my case. And then in my case, I want to make sure that I have a capital SAV label. This becomes very important when you finally set up the menu list, to make sure that save folder is in the correct partition. And then I've elected to give it a swap partition, but you don't really need it if you're going to set up what's called a ZRAM later. But just for purposes of this presentation, I've just also put up a swap partition. So let me just at this point, I want to just take a brief look at the menu list, which is what we're going to be installing later. And this is a grub for DOS menu list, and essentially this is what I have here. And let me close this. It's only thing that I will have to do additionally to make sure is to identify the save partition, is add this line. In my case, this tells you the label of the partition and the save folder, which is the one I have. So under here, under save folder, is where I have all the save folders of different PuppyLinux distribution that I have. So I actually am running multiple ISOs, so I can choose which one I boot into. Right now I booted into Bionic Pup64, but we'll concentrate on this here today, and we'll be adding this in the menu list. But let me go to next. So we just covered the how to determine legacy BIOS, and we briefly went over a gparted. And next we're gonna download the ISO, and I'll leave a link in the description where you can download this ISO. And this ISO is a fairly recent version of FOSSA Pup64, and it's very good distro in my opinion for a very low powered machine. And I'm actually recording this in a 14-year-old fanless mini computer, so this actually runs very well. What you want to do is to manually set up PuppyLinux in a PuppyLinux distribution. What you can do is just go ahead and click to look at the inside of this ISO. So this is what we have, and because of the way I have it set up here, let me just go ahead and close this. I'm gonna just open up the first partition here. So I have several the PuppyLinux running, and here's a menu list. You will not have menu list obviously until later, but what you want to do is create a identifier. In other words, just make a so here in SDA1, what you want to do is make a directory. In my case, while I have elected to go ahead and use FL-6, and that way you just create this a folder. So I've already done that, so we'll go ahead and get out of that. And then once you go ahead and created a folder, what you can do is just get in it, and then just manually copy the files of all the SFS extension. So you grab all this FSS extension, and 2 additional files you must go ahead and copy over. It's init.rd and vmlinux. So this works for any Puppy ISOs as long as this is a legacy BIOS. So you grab all that and simply drag it over it to a copy. Okay, so it's a very quick process. Then you essentially have installed a PuppyLinux at that point. So now you have to get into the menu, creating the menu list. And so at that point, what you can do is just go ahead and fire up a grub for DOS bootloader configuration. So we'll go ahead and do that. Of course, this same is also on the setup on grub for DOS bootloader configuration. So at that point, what you want to do is make sure that you search within a device. So this SDB is my large external hard drive, which I don't want to touch. But this is the menu list. I want to put it in SDA1. So only we want to search within this device. So it's going to search it, and then it's going to give you all this list of the ISOs that's available. These are all PuppyLinux, obviously, and we can just go ahead and OK it at this point, although I usually just end up using BP64, and then CE4, and then FL6 is the one we just installed. This is FPM2. This is another recent version of pup variant. Up E1, E1, and VP 25, XP 64, and then rather than using flash here, it's going to be installed in internal hard drives. So I usually make a ATA HD and then OK it, and then OK it again, and it's going to install it in SDA1, and then I want to edit it. Okay, I want to edit this. We get a warning in this case of menu list that's changed. So what we want to do is make sure at this point is to add this line, as I previously stated, in front of pfix to each because each ISOs, because it will make sure that the save folder is in a correct partition. Okay, I think that's it as far as the menu list. And then after that's all done, what you should be able to do is just reboot, and then you're going to get a choice of all these ISOs, and then pick whichever one you want to boot into, and that should be it for what I want to do today. And I hope you find this